Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone with me now, from Masters of Reality and Goon Moon, this man did not get into the music business. The show, as it exists now, would not be possible. Fellow upstate New York native, Chris Goss. How we doing today?
Really, really good. How are you?
I'm doing great. First off, I have to ask, what is New Aeon?
Well, it's a lot of things. It probably has a lot of definitions for everybody. Something must pop into someone's head when they hear it. With the Mayan calendar thing coming up upon us, and the internet, the world, the global village, the whole thing. A lot of signals pointing to a major, the quickest change in the shortest amount of time the world has ever seen. And so I'll leave that interpretation to what all those implications are to everybody in the definition of New Aeon, if you get my drift.
Think anything's going to happen?
Of course, it's happening now.
Sure. All right, let's go to Pine/Crossed Over. Long time in the works. Took a while for the album to come out. How long was the album done before it was finally released?
Nearly a year.
Why were there so many delays on it?
You probably have to ask the European, the Dutch label head. It was promotional consideration, when we could tour, blah, 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 and just like, making the calendar for them work with what all the musicians on this side of the ocean, and the best time to release it in Europe, blah, blah, blah. It was a logistic thing, unfortunate logistic thing, I think. A year is too long to have something sitting on the shelf. But in the scheme of things, there's, artists have had albums on shelves for 7 years due to logistical things. So, no biggie. It got out.
So are you pleased with the release so far?
Yes, actually. It's been like a long, slow release, and which is a real luxury to take your time in expounding your work, and not just having this 6-week window when you're in the real record world where you're okay, your window's done, you're done, you're over. I'm going back and thinking, well, okay, everything's changing in this really fast direction. That doesn't jive with me personally and the way I like to work, the way I bought music throughout my life. It came out when it came out, and there, obviously the amount of releases now is nothing like it was in the heyday, when you waited for 2 or 3 key records every year, and then maybe something new came out in the midst of those 3 that was surprising that you get hooked on. But now you just, with, like I said, the advent of everything that's going on, I wasn't taught that way and brought up about that way about digesting music. If it took us 2 years to get to a record when I was growing up, like 2 years didn't matter to us. If we missed a band's record, for instance, if you got turned on to the 3rd Yes record, you'd be buying their first one after you fell in love with the 3rd one. And I bring that, just savoring 1 or 2 records for a long time, really enjoying them. I still listen to music like that. I can't keep up with everything. I don't enjoy shit in blurts. Can I say shit on this show?
Well, I'm taping it, so I could just cut it out.
I mean, because it's a big topic.
Sure.
And anyway, so I'm not going to go along with that plan. And if I have a piece of work that I enjoy, that I look forward to present, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to fall into that pitfall. I'm going to stand behind it for a year or 2. I don't care, and keep chipping at it. Now the U.S. release is coming up on October 12th, and so to the U.S. it's a brand new record. To most of the world, it's a brand new record, really. And, if it takes a while to sink in, that's fine. That used to be, very, very acceptable and commonplace, and it didn't interfere with your success at one point. Let's keep it that way. There's so many brilliant. There's been talk lately of how the triple record that Joanna Newsom put out a few months ago.
Yeah.
Have One on Me, and already it's nowhere to be seen because it's been covered over by the 15 million releases after it, and everyone chasing around. But Joanna had her music has the intelligence and the charm to hold the test of time. People will be buying that record for the next 100 years if we're still here. And I'm still on disc one. I savor it. I like to. That'll be the only CD in my truck for months, and enjoyed just getting familiar with the first disc. Maybe 3 was overwhelming, and if it was 1, it would still be talked about a little bit. But I think the reason why it does get buried too, and that's partly because it was three records length, and people who are really into someone like Joanna, they're going to take their time and savor every bit of it, and it's it's genius, complex, prolific music, and so sensitive, and get lost in it, enjoy it, like when you're reading some great book and you don't want it to end, savor it if it takes you a year, and so anyway, that's my thing anyway, and I don't feel bad playing within. If it's going to be niche playing fields, then damn it, that's mine, okay? And I know there are other people out there who feel the same way. We don't have to go with the flow of down the river. Hold your ground, hang with people who think like you, work with people who think like you, and hold your ground in this mess. That's all. And maybe it'll rise to the top.
Well, now with the advent of the internet and so many artists being pressured to just produce crap constantly, not even crap, but just a constant flow of content.
Content, right? What
all
a
the
great
time.
Word for it, I'll give you content. Sure, if if you need blurbs for Facebook content, okay, but hey, making that like art is I don't know, it's weird. But finish what you were about to get on.
Well, you bring up a point, and since you're constantly putting out the content, I don't think there is much room to grow for a band. When you look back at all of the Masters albums, all of them have their own different jive to them.
Right.
And when you have an artist putting out a couple EPs a year, doing some web-only stuff, it kind of gets lost, as you said, in the river of and there isn't a lot of room for that artist to grow.
Get out of this yearly record tour cycle. Let's be different, like Radiohead, or whatever. Just do it. Find a way that within all of this, and that you can obviously financially survive, which is why having lots of side projects is a great idea. It's like having a network of musicians that you put different things out with, and that's how you wait it out. Go do other cool things. Then when your thing pops up again, go with it. I'm gonna be going with this Pine crossed over record for about a year at least, and it came out a year ago in Europe, and I'm fine with it. I haven't begun to have fun with playing it yet, and that's what it boils down to for me.
Well, that's good. Is there going to be a U.S. tour?
A few dates in mid-November to be announced by the end of this week. That's pretty quick. It's coming up very quickly. And then we're going back to Europe in January, mid-January, with the Cult for an extensive UK tour, and what I hear, a few shows over in Germany after UK. and I think that's a really good lineup. So I'm excited about that.
Thinking about doing a hometown gig in Syracuse, maybe?
Probably not. I mean, it's very stressful in a way, and it's logistically probably stressful, and lots of it's going back to your hometown to play,
Right?
And people come out of the woodwork that you haven't seen in years, and that you have to hug. And so it's a pretty intense kind of thing. Whenever a musician goes home, it's intense.
Getting back to the album, you split it into two parts. Is that kind of a throwback to the days of vinyl?
Yes. I suppose it could be boiled down to that. And also just adding another psychological slant to the attack.